Welcome to North Impact. I'm your host, Evelyn Rodriguez, and today we're here with Professor Samantha Carlo and Professor Minka Davis-Bradley to talk about Tsuba. So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you
for having us.
Perfect. What is a Tsuba?
Well, a Tsuba, a lot of people think it must be some sort of scuba diving class or something, but that's kind of the opposite of what it is. A Tsuba is actually abuse spelled backwards. And Professor Carlo and myself in 2013 started to take this curriculum into South Florida prisons. And basically what we do is over two 12-week sessions, so 24 weeks, we work with inmates, about 25 to 30 male inmates, South Florida prisons, and about 5 to 6 Miami-Dade college students. And the curriculum is about reversing the effects of abuse. So we cover lots of different topics that will help many of our inmates re-enter a little bit more successfully. We cover relationship skills, communication skills, stress management, parenting skills, the effects of abuse, substance abuse. There's so many things we cover, and the overall goal is to make sure our guys are successful in their lives there and then when they return to our communities.
How did this all get started?
Tsuba actually started in the mid-90s. I actually was a student participant in Tsuba at Florida State University, and I did the program for a couple of semesters and then kind of forgot about it. But the professor who led the program at Florida State has been a mentor of mine. And when I started teaching here at the college, I realized that our students needed a rich experience where they could actually go in to the correctional facilities, work with the inmates, understand the culture, see what correctional facilities are all about. And then I thought it would be a great idea to kind of blend the criminology component with psychology. So I picked up the phone, called my colleague, and said, would you like to come to prison with me? And then the program was born. And we're actually the only college in the country running the program right now inside correctional facilities with students, so they get that experience.
Now, when you talk about collaborating, what made you think about collaborating?
Well, it's not like a Match.com where you kind of put your profile in and say, oh, we'd be great together. Instead, Professor Carl and I met at faculty orientation 10 years ago. And I think we had a lot of values in common. And so we know that the college is very supportive of communities of interest and making sure we bring the two disciplines together, different disciplines together. And so after talking about this need in the criminal justice world, but we also say that these are people and that they need some of those psychological skills to kind of help push forward those goals.
And what do you say are kind of the best experiences that you've had with your students as you go along with this program?
Oh, so many.
There's a lot. We benefit from great experiences for our Miami-Dade students, but also the incarcerated individuals. Usually everyone's asking. It's a two-phase program. Everyone's asking for phase 3, phase 4. So that's very rewarding. We've also been invited to multiple correctional facilities. There's only 2 of us, and so we can't go to every prison in the country, but we pretty much tackle the South Florida area in state correctional facilities, and we also have federal prisons down here. But the rewarding moments are when either student, the inmate or the Miami-Dade College student, have this moment of awakening, like, oh, like, I've approached things this way my whole life. Maybe there's a better, more appropriate, more meaningful way to tackle a problem or solve a problem. And every week there's an aha moment. We have someone having a breakthrough of some sort. I think the fact that it's a safe environment, prisons are typically unsafe. And so it's a safe environment for these inmates to share their experiences and also things that they probably couldn't talk about, back in their housing units. And then students really get an inside perspective about the realities of prison and also the realities of crime causation, socioeconomic disadvantage, educational deficits, and how many of us are really about just one decision away from maybe spending some time in prison. So I think it benefits everybody.
When you talk about it, you talk with so much passion, and it's great to see that as faculty members. What is the passion that goes beyond that? What is it that made you say, this is the time, I want to do this right now?
Oh, well, I think that there's always been that passion. but throughout your professional career, you have to figure out when all of the stars kind of align. And I think one of the things we have right now is a very supportive administration who's about really impacting change in the world that we live in. We've acquired the skills necessary, the support necessary to do it. And so it's just kind of come together. It's something that we've always wanted to make some sort of change. And through conversations and community work, it's just kind of fallen into place. So,
how do the students impact you? Because I know the students are always impacted, but how do they impact you?
You know, our job as professors, like we want to always kind of plant that seed and see it grow later. And it's amazing to watch a student have a revelation, because a lot of times the students walk in, the Miami-Dade students walk in thinking that they're going to go and change someone else's life. And realistically, what they find out is they end up being changed themselves. Like, this is a very transformative process for everyone involved. And so to see them have that moment where they say, wow, not only am I making a change and making a difference, but these people are impacting me to be the best version of myself that I can be. So that's always very rewarding.
It's also important. A lot of the students that do join the program are criminal justice majors who they have like a tunnel vision, like, oh, I want to be a cop, or oh, I want to be a prosecutor, and that's fine. But after going through this program, many of them have a change of heart, and they realize that there are so many systemic and social problems in our communities that usually or oftentimes result in incarceration, and so they want to be a part of that movement and kind of changing, a little bit of a paradigm shift in their thought.
What's next with the Tsuba?
Oh gosh, so many things. So like I said, we've been doing this since 2013. We've probably worked with we're nearing about 300 inmates, nearing 50 plus students from Miami-Dade College. And one of the things we've found is that in addition to doing the work we do with the Tsuba program, a lot of these guys are very interested and very hungry in academic knowledge. And Miami-Dade College is all about that, right? Helping people change through education. And so one of the things we've developed is the Institute for Educational Empowerment, which is trying to make sure we bring college courses back into the prisons, and also making Miami-Dade College a home for inmates who are returning citizens once they are released. And we actually are raising money to provide scholarships for inmates who want to take classes, as well as students who want to participate in the Tsuba program. So through the Miami-Dade College Foundation, if you know anyone who wants to offer, give us a little money, we're there, right?
Gladly received.
Thank you so much for being with us. Up next, we'll have 2 students who participate in the program, as well as when we come back, a brand new student that we're welcoming to the North Campus, and you'll get to know him. Stay tuned.
Be creative. Be a hero. Be the solution. Be connected. Be innovative. Be global. Be successful. Be you. Be MDC. Be Miami-Dade College.
Welcome back to North Impact. My name is Evelyn Rodriguez, and we're here with 2 students who actually participate in the Tsuba program. Welcome to the show. Can you please start by introducing yourselves?
Sure. My name is Yasmin Tassara, and I'm in the Public Safety Management program.
Thank you for having us here, Evelyn. My name is Maribel Audhi, and I'm as well as Jasmine. I'm in the Public Safety Management pathway, in the Criminal Justice Administration.
Perfect. So how did you get started with the Tsuba?
Well, it was I was taking a class online, and Professor Carlo actually emailed me saying if I wanted to participate in a program, it was going to be a good experience within my field, and I got very interested. I never met Professor Carlo before, and I figured, well, I'll just go, and shouldn't be that hard.
All right. And how did you hear about it?
Well, I was actually taking a class in person with Professor Carlo. It was actually a class that had to do with our prison system and our jails. So she told us in class about the program that was being offered, and it was like you have to apply for it, and I was very interested, especially because of the pathway that I'm working on. It was a perfect opportunity for me to see hand in hand how our criminal justice system actually works.
Awesome. Now, I know that and I've heard there's so much passion from you all as the students as when you go there. Can you share with us what it's like when you go there on a regular basis?
Wow, that's I mean, if you think about it, right? You think that you're going into this prison like the Hollywood movies and everything else. I mean, yeah, you kind of go through the checkups. They want to make sure that you're not bringing anything that could harm them or they could harm you with. But once you're in there, I mean, it's totally different. The inmates are actually very happy. They welcome you. I mean, some of them don't have any visits on a regular basis, so you're kind of like their weekly visit. So that's one of the things that kind of motivates you because you see their human side. I mean, I know they committed crimes, but the only thing that people or society labels them as a prisoner, as a person who did something really wrong, but they don't see that they're a person that can learn. So one of the things that excited me or on a weekly basis was kind of like just to know that they were happy to see me and they were willing to learn from students. I mean, they didn't care whether it was a student, it was another human being, or whether it was a college professor, but they were willing to learn, and they had that passion, and that kind of motivates you as a person and as a professional.
As a student going there and experiencing this, what are some of the activities that you usually would do with the inmates?
Well, we definitely did a lot of activities. The program basically was more on a group session. Those group sessions, we focus on different topics that will help them, which the main ones were abuse, how to retrieve abuse, all different type of abuse, how to deal with stress. They're working with their coping skills, communication skills. We did a lot of we work with them one, and we did a lot of activities that had to do with maybe acting skills, coaching skills, conversations, talk about different scenarios, things that made them comfortable feel and actually kind of forget in the environment where they are in order for them to open up and get the best out of the program.
Now, you talk about environment, and that's very interesting because it is a prison. But you said you don't feel like this is, when you go in, you're just going into a room. You don't feel like it's a prison at some point because you start engaging with them, and you do you forget that they're prisoners at some point?
Yes, I mean the first time that we actually went in, I think from the first moment all the way to the end, I didn't forget. But the second time we kind of like loosened up a little bit more, and we started seeing them as an individual, not as a prisoner. And that's when you start, kind of relax. You relax about it, and then when you start engaging with first the icebreaker. That's one thing that we do at first. So when we do the icebreaker, we kind of like break that ice and know that it's gonna be okay. That they're human beings. That they're there, and we're sitting just like Maribel and I are sitting down. They're this close. So and we're dealing with a lot of people that went all the way from a rape all the way to murder. So you forget that person is a murderer, that person might be a rapist, that person might be a robber. You don't care about that because at the end of the day, like I said, they're so motivated to learn that you see them as a human being, and that's it.
How has this changed you guys, the experience?
Definitely has changed me a lot. Not only because I feel that I can make a difference. Also, I know now for sure that, criminal justice is the pathway, that I chose, and it fits my personality because I lived it, face to face by, being in the Tsuba program. But something that really touched me was that I always wanted to be a lawyer, and I wasn't, specifically didn't know what type of law I wanted to pursue. I always wanted to be a prosecutor, actually. And after, being in the Tsuba program, that actually changed my mind, changed the perspective I see things, and now, I'm, I'm actually pursuing, after I finish with my bachelor's, I want to go to law school and become a criminal defense attorney. And those are some of the things that those inmates, the people in that program, made me see that at the end of the day, we're humans and we can make mistakes, but we can change from it, we can learn from it, and we can be better.
Now, it's great that you mentioned that, because that's really what a change maker is. And you guys are a change maker. You're changing people's lives. And it's also preparing you for the experience of what's going to happen in the real world. And these are the kind of people that you will meet in the real world, but that you also are meeting other people. Because it's not only you're meeting the inmates, but you're also spending time working with your faculty and so forth. How do you embed what you're learning from this experience into your future careers?
I would say that it breaks you down. It breaks that prejudice. It helps you out in many ways, because once you have, spent time with them, and you have changed your mind about those things, that they're not they're prisoners, but at the same time we got to treat them right and everything else. You learn a lot about life in general. I mean, you cannot. I don't see myself, being the way I am right now if I didn't have that experience at the prison. And I had the two best coaches, Professor Carlo and Dr. Brantley, that, I mean, when they saw anything that I did wrong, I mean, they would just tell me, hey, you got to change this, you got to change that. I mean, it's a very different experience that I've had. I mean, I've gone to many activities within the school, and nothing touched my heart just like this program.
And you feel the same way?
I feel the same way, and definitely for the future, after, being part of a Tsuba, I have an open, my mind, it's open, and I especially learn not to judge a book by its cover, and have an open-minded for future experiences and the future, regardless what my future career goal is. My future goals, always have an open-minded and never judge a book by its cover.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being with us. Coming up next, we'll meet our new North Campus student. Stay tuned.
Be creative. Be a hero. Be the solution. Be connected. Be innovative. Be global. Be successful. Be you. Be MDC. Be Miami-Dade College.
Cool programs for hot jobs. Let Miami-Dade College jumpstart your career. We offer bachelor's degrees in film and TV production, nursing, electronics engineering, information systems technology, supervision and management, supply chain management, or choose from 300 other programs to study. You can take classes during the day, evening, weekend, or online. For more info, visit mdc.edu or call 305-237-8888. Get the knowledge and training for today's in-demand jobs. Register now. Miami-Dade College.
To North Campus Impact. We're here with Marvin, and we're going to introduce you our first North Campus student. Welcome to the North Campus.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name's Marvin Etienne, and I've made it to the North Campus by way of a Tsuba. A Tsuba is a program I participated in at Everglade Corrections while I was housed there not too long ago.
What was your experience in interacting with the students and the faculty members from Tsuba?
It was probably the best thing that happened to me. I would definitely rank it towards the top. I heard about the program before I ever met Professor Carlo or Dr. Brantley, and they held well regarded within the population. Mm-hmm. And so I was definitely interested in meeting, coming from where I was coming from, people from a different environment than I came from. But when I met them, it was everything I thought it might be.
When you first interacted with them and saw them for the first time, what are some of the feelings that you were having? Were you nervous? Was it something like you just wanted to jump at it? Or was it something you just had to take your pace with?
Because I had already heard about it, I came in like in full observation mode. But one of the first things that struck me was how they interacted with us. It wasn't anything correctional about it. It was person to person, and that really resonated with me. They have, it was bigger than a curriculum, and so I was able to see that almost immediately. And it's like the class is like family structured. We're strangers at first, but we build in the conversation and things that we talked about, and so we growed in that. But it was my initial impressions were very high, very high.
What are some of the things that you learned through the different activities that you guys had? What are some of the things that you got out of it?
I learned, I think one of the things that struck me was how the Miami-Dade students coming in, their thinking and their viewpoints on different things. I found it to be real mature. Some of the things they're going through, I found that although I've been interacting with people for a while, I would never really listen to what they had to say. And people have some real meaningful things to say. A lot of personal things can come out in the group discussion. And so we learned about the different forms of abuse. Each session that I call it has its own little personality. So it kind of flows with whatever is going on that day, and whether or not we're late or not. But it was definitely a lot to take in.
Now you're here. You decided to come to college.
Yes.
Why did you decide to come to college?
I decided to come to college because I wanted more for me, right? I was encouraged through the relationship building process with the professors, and they want more for me also. And so it was an easy decision to want to come into this type of institution and be a part of that, and to continue to grow in the manner that I was doing.
Through the interactions and activities. Yes. What are you looking forward to as you start your classes and your courses?
I'm looking forward to just the whole student experience. We did registration already, so we did that. It's a lot of discipline that you could take with you. And coming in this environment, especially between having participated in the class and having all this time to reflect. And so to pay it forward, to be the best person I could be and the best student.
What is it that you want to do once you get your degree? What are some of the things you're looking forward to?
Once I get my degree, just really living life. I think one of the better things is, in coming in this environment, your associations. And so it's already opened up doors that wouldn't have been open for me. And so my future is still in the works. So where I may end up, I don't know exactly right now, but it's going to be, beneficial to me and those involved, and it's going to be, it seems really bright right now.
Now, when you talk about, your participation in Tsuba, what is that one thing that made you say, I want to be a college student? Did you have that one moment that you said, okay, I know this is for me now?
I can't identify one particular moment, but I knew that going through the experience, I needed more than the curriculum had to offer. They're bound in that particular setting, and so the needs I wanted to address couldn't be addressed right then, and so I grew a lot, but I know it was a whole bigger world, a whole different, how do you want to say it, a whole nother life, a whole nother...
Life in terms of another environment, another chapter.
Right, and so it was a bigger chapter, one I could grow, really grow from, and so that kept resonating with me.
Now, when you look at your whole experience, What are your thoughts about giving back? Is that something that you eventually want to do? Is there any area that you're passionate about?
And giving back, what I want to do is help spread the word about what these young ladies do. And it's a lot of pushing back. I know they make gains, but they have to fight real hard to make these gains. And so I would like to go back into the institution. And I think it'd be real encouraging for the guys to see that, you know, hey, I just seen you 2 months ago, and now you're here, you're coming back to speak, and this what happened, I came to the college. And it's the interaction between people is totally different.
And you're a change maker, and I want you to know that, because in change making, it's not about doing a big project or trying to save the world. It's just you saving one person, and just having that passion behind you to do it. That's a change maker. So you're already a change maker. So I want to congratulate that on the fact that you're not only a North Campus student, you're also a change maker, and you didn't even know you were a change maker. But you're going to be changing lives, because through your passion and through your experiences, you're going to be changing others, and that's very important. And as we wrap up, is there any message that you want to give to other students of the North Campus or out to the community?
The community, I want to say to them that sometimes people in our community, I mean, some of us fancy ourselves, you know, from different places, but we're actually not that far apart. As people and physically, you know, the physical distance between us. And so there are people in our community who don't always make the best decisions, right? But at some point, we will find our way back to the community. And a lot of us want to be better than we left. And so there are people, if that's not your cause, I know there's other causes out there. You have the educational children, the educational system, you know, our children. There's a whole lot of things going out there. So if that's your cause, that's fine. But there are people who've taken up this fight. You don't necessarily have to actively support them. But I'm speaking to like the pushback sometimes, because it's like difficult for them. And I've been able to see some of the difficulties. But I'm an example of someone who has changed and who's benefited from people like yourself and Dr. Brantley and Professor Carlo. And so
you're just changing. You're little by little, you're changing. And thank you so much for being with us. It does mean a lot to us that we get to see the whole picture. Here's the 360, you know, from even for the students. You impact the students because you make a difference in their lives. And so that's important. And I think a lot of times, and you tell me if I'm wrong, but they go there to impact you, you never realizing really that you impact them, because your story now matters. And all of your story matters. You know, those that you were with matters. And, you know, seeing your future and how your future is going to be. What is it that you want to do or study while you're here at the North Campus?
I want to study something in information technology. I'm interested in all gadgetry, and so that's my course.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank
you so much for joining us for North Campus Impact. I'm your host, Evelyn Rodriguez. Till next time, remember, it only takes one to make a difference. Go out there and make a difference today.